The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. My relationship with the UC, it's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone.
클론?
Of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin. A title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come.
UC가 클론을 만들다니 베이빅티스가 얼마나 대단한 사령관이었던가.
He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned.
아버지와는 다를 것이다. 내각이 그것을 모른다면 그것은 내각의 책임이다.
I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already.
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Here we go. Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
국무회의실.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
하이드리아는 이 문제를 해결하는 것이 시급하다고 단언했다.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno-Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
아카이브 데이터에서 텔러모프에 의한 재앙을 막을 수 있는 방법을 찾고 싶다.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tauceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this
야,
civil,
말
shall
잘한다.
we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
난 좀 부담스러운데? 나한테 집중이 되니까? 그는 불시에 침입한 식민지를 전멸시켰다. 끔찍한 일이다.
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
정보가 부족해 보이긴 하는데 타우세트에서 일어난 일이 다른 곳에서도 일어날 수 있다면 요청을 허용해야 한다.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
I suppose that does get to the heart of the point, doesn't it? Very well. I consent. The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to...
뭐야?
What was that?
Attention.
뭐야?
An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport.
근데
and have
너무
your
인위적
men
아니야?
contain the things,
누군가가
but do
조종하고
it
있나?
discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
그럼 일단 나갑시다.
You! The EM rifle, grab it!
뭐야?
Now!
경비원의 이야기를 들어보자.
We're trying to help you!
뭐지? 시민들이 경비원을 지금 폭행하고 있죠? EM 무기 회수하기.
That's it. Now hit.
무기 장착하기. 나 뭐 먹었니? 여기 있다. 개조 EM 에퀴녹스.
With everything you've got.
공격자 무력화.
Lights out on that.
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting. I've seen this before. They were under the terror
정신 공격이야?
weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We'd tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some terramorphs, they can induce this fog.
야, 무시무시하다.
It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready.
즉, 텔레모프는 사람의 마음을 조종할 수 있다는 뜻인가?
I'm not suggesting. It's documented behavior. The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some folks just shrug it off. Others hallucinate. And some lose control altogether. They'll lash out at anyone around them, but still be aware while they're doing it. Those cases, you'll either need to knock them out with EM fire, or free them by killing the terramorph.
서두르지 않으면 안 될 것 같다.
Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
아니, 그러면 이 무기 자주 쓸 것 같은데?
No time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move.
All citizens required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
You might back up. Don't just stand
텔레모프
there.
제거하기.
Good.
와, 30레벨 데미지도 안 들어가. 어떡하냐 이거. 일단 기절을 시킬까? 좋아, 일단 기절시키고. 뭐야 얘들아, 공격해.
It's here. It's here.
안전한 곳에서 딜하자. 뭐야?
Captain! To be okay. It's not real. Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real. We have to put down that bomb.
뭐야? 나 정신지배 당했나봐.
You can't hide.
Surrounded. All around. No way out.
They got me.
Experts. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, but we're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well, one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We hold them as best we can.
우와, 대박이에요. 수류탄도 챙기고 일단 챙기자. 이것도 챙길까? 그래. 없는 것보단 낫지.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here, but we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us.
와, 믿음직해. 절대 공격하지 않겠지?
We're not afraid, but we'll stay here and hold the line if that's what you want. You're the experts.
괜히 또 우리끼리 싸우면 아니야, 그래도 다굴해 좋겠지? 우리들을 지켜봐줬으면 좋겠어.
Roger that. We're on you. Anyone nosing around here's gotta have a death wish.
좋아, 일단 가까운 데로 먼저 갑시다. 내가 기절을 시킬게. 그럼 니들 공격해. 좋아, 공격해.
There's one right there! Captain! You're going to be okay! It's not real!
나는 걱정하지 마.
Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real! You have to put down that orb!
Stand still. Wear your skin.
우와. 아, 한 명의 희생자가. 미니건 좋은 거 갖고 있었네? 이건 잘 쓸게. 좋아. 갑시다, 여러분. 야, 데미지 깎이는 거 싫어하냐? 그렇지, 나이스 어그로. 하하하.
All wrapped up. We should go tell the sergeant what happened.
One of the finest Marines I've ever served with.
아니,
All
얘
the
뭐
risks signing up for duty like this.
회복시켜주는 그런 거 없어?
The city's safe. That's
야, 역시 소방대원들 훌륭했습니다.
Thank the heavens you're back in one piece. I guess our people weren't so lucky.
영웅들이었어. 그게 일이지. 야, 그들의 희생은 헛되지 않았다. 도시는 안전해졌다.
The few protecting the many.
And it would have been plenty more if it hadn't been for the two of you. The city owes you both a debt after this.
We were just in the right place at the right time. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
아, 이 세 마리가 끝이었어? 네 마리였나? 그나마 다행이네.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Captain,
The cabinet's full back
Hadrian?
to prevent more attacks.
it would appear that the cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
부동산 사치품으로 표현해줘요. 너무 웃긴다. 아, 고마워요.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy
저밖에 없겠죠.
are facing right now. The cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative.
보상을 알려주세요. 너무 웃긴다. 왜 외교관에게 맡기지 않는가? 전문가가 하는 거잖아?
The cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The cabinet was unanimous. They want you.
보상을 알려주세요. 그런 다음 검토한다. 너무 웃긴다 이거. 야, 나는 이런 선택지를 선택할 정도로 보상에 미치지 않았어요. 근데 끌려. 한번 눌러볼까? 보상을 알려주세요. 그런 다음 검토한다.
The very next item on my list.
오,
In exchange,
대화가
we're
좀
willing to
통하는데?
fast track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us?
시민권 준다면 해야죠. 그렇다면 UC 시민이 되면 어떤 혜택이 있을까?
It has its perks. Only citizens can purchase property in the city. We also pay reduced prices on most goods
토지
and services
구입에
across
할인된
the
간격.
UC. There's also a credit disbursement when you first
크레딧
join.
혜택.
Help get you on your feet.
훌륭해.
Above all, you'd become a dedicated part of the greatest faction in the galaxy. If you're willing to help us, we can open that door.
맡겨주세요.
I'm glad to hear it. Now,
목숨을
we, of
바치겠습니다.
course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
와, 12,000 대박. 보상 훌륭하고요.